Peace, peace, brother Chino. Should be all right now. All right, all right. We good, we good. All right, let's see if we can get others up on here. Seems like everybody is watching. I see Dane Calloway went live, so maybe they watching him or something. But we going to get it in. How you doing today, brother Chino? Okay, you never heard of him? Well, popular dude on YouTube. He deals mostly with the indigenous information. I drop, quite a few lessons on that, how we are the indigenous Aboriginal people of the Americas. All right, so tonight discussion gonna be on the heart, ab, weight against the feather, SHU. So we're gonna get that in the best way we can. You know how we do. You always got to go into the hard facts, the books, scholarship, papers, articles, pamphlets, booklets, every and anything we can get our hands on that connects the truth from worldwide research. That's how we do. We have no choice in this matter because this is our purpose and our mission that we came to fulfill, at least in this lifetime. So we want to get into the info and get deep as we can. All right, peace, peace. Jay Royal, how you doing? All right, Islam, Brother Jeffrey. Appreciate y'all coming on. All right, we're going to get into the topic of discussion tonight. Once again, that's the ab, which is the heart, weighed against the SHU, which is the feather. All right, so let's bring it on in. All right, y'all can tell me if y'all can see the screen or not. Says how you maintain life situations. In what way, Jay Royal? Give me an example what you mean by that, how you maintain life situations. Peace self, reach to the guard. Oh, yeah, yeah, you like that topic? Oh, yeah, let's get it, let's get it. All right, y'all can see it. Good, good, good. Okay, brother Shino, do you see it yet? Oh, just my face? Oh, okay. No PDF. All right, so let's try to bring it back in then. Yeah, I went back out in order to see if y'all can see the screen. All right. There we go. Should be able to be presented to everyone. How about now? Can y'all see the screen? No, y'all can see me. Okay, brother Shino, you can see the screen now? Is good? All right, 100. All right, there we go. So let's get it. All right, let's go to the slide. All right. So we understand that there's 7 parts of the anatomy of man, woman. However, the ancient Egyptians, Kemites, Temerians, they added 2 more. All right. They added a science of breath. They also added a science of Kundalini, which is called in the South African traditions, Umbelini. But this is what they consider the facts of the soul. The person's soul was thought to be immortal. It's not a thought, this is a fact. Energy cannot be destroyed, nor is it created. This is a fact. This is a quantum physics fact, a physics fact, a biological fact, a scientific fact. That energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Hence, energy is immortal. The soul is immortal. It's an internal being whose stay on earth was only one part of a much larger and grander journey. This soul was said to consist of 9 separate parts, not separate, entangled, complementary, if you have the proper connection to your higher self. First is the Khat. The Khat sound just like the CAT. Hence the reason why they say that a cat has 9 lives. Your body, which is the Khat, has 9 lives. Khat was the physical body. So it was one of the 9 lives, just like a cat. This is why in the ancient Kemet traditions, the cat was worshipped, had a deity or nature by the name of Baset. My angry side was Sekhmet. In fact, Ra sent Sekhmet to destroy humanity. And humanity got Sekhmet drunk. And she forgot to do the damn thing. This is correlating to the story of Moses, to Noah in the Old Testament in the book of Genesis, where it speaks about the fact that the angel came forth to warn Noah of the impending conditions. So instead of Sekhmet getting drunk, Noah got drunk. Noah is the word nous within Latin, which means to think. It means the mind, the mental. So the drunken spirit is talking about when the mind is scrambled, when the mind is in an amnesic state. Remember, Noah forgot that he was but negative, and his sons attempted to not look. However, it is said that Ham looked, and thus received a curse upon his genetics, which was through Canaan. Canaan was cursed. This is the biblical story. But Kat was the physical body. Then you have the Ka, right, which is the lower spiritual aspect, right? It was called one's double form, the etheric body, which sits about 2 inches above the physical body. Some people's extend to 6 inches, 2 inches above the physical body, most 6 inches or more for those who have mastered the science of breath. Then you have the Ba, a human-headed bird aspect which can or could speed between earth and heaven. That is the soul. Then you have the Shuet, which actually is the science of breath, because the word shu is part of this, is the root of Shuet. It was the shadow self. Then you have the Aku or Ak, the immortal, transformed self, is also referred to as the glorified body. The Sahu and Shechem aspects of the Aku. So you have the Aku, the Ka, and the Ba, right? And this aspect of the Ka is talking about the higher spiritual body. You have a lower spiritual Ka, and you have a higher spiritual Ka. The higher spiritual Ka, which is called your spiritual body, your soul body, and your glorified light body, which is called the Aku, the immortal, transformed self, along with the Sahu and Shechem, which is the masculine term for Sekmat aspect of the Aku. Those bodies survive death. Those bodies are what give you the ability to be immortal, eternal, everlasting, forever. Forever, forever, ever, forever, ever. Don't know nothing about that. That's Outcast. Old school. Ab was the heart. This is what we'll be talking about, right? That's what this whole discussion will be talking about tonight, is the heart. The source of good and evil. Then you have the Ren, and it was one secret name. We're going to do discussions on each of these bodies, but we're going to start with the heart. My teacher, Sunyata Saraswati, Grand Master, used to tell us all the time that a lot of us are top heavy, meaning that we got a lot of knowledge up top, but the heart is lacking. All 9 of these aspects was part of one's earthly existence, and at death, the Aku or Ak was the Sahu and Shechem. The word Shechem is also the term that we use for Shek and Saku is also the term that we use for the chief of an indigenous Aboriginal tribe. This is how we know that the so-called original indigenous Americans were ancient Egyptian, Kemetic, Temerian. It's because of the name given to the tribal members, in particular of the chiefs, was Shechem, which is also an ancient Kemetic, Temerian Egyptian name. The Aku or Ak appeared before Osiris, right, in the Hall of Truth, and in the presence of the 42 judges, to have one's heart, the Ab, weighed and balanced on a golden scale against the white feather of truth. This feather was Shu. Shu is the personification of breath, meaning the breath. The seed atom of the heart is weighed against the breath of life. And if the seed feather is lighter than the breath of life, then there is no incarnation. One will be able to come back and materialize and dematerialize at will if they so choose to. However, if the heart weighs more and is heavier than the white feather, Shu, the breath of life, then one would have to incarnate again into another third dimensional apparent reality. Maybe not necessarily this one, but it would have to be another one. And as the saying goes, another one bites the dust. You have to put back on that baby brain, as Brother Bobby Hemmett says. Not knowing who you were, once again, not knowing your past incarnations, your past life. That is non existence in the sense that you have no memory of your former self. Hence, admit eats the heart. Hence, you become non existent in that sense. The ancient Egyptians recognized that when the soul first awoke in the afterlife, it would be disorientated and might not remember its life on earth, its death, or what it was to do next. In order to help the soul continue on its journey, artists and scribes would create paintings and texts related to one's life on the walls of one's tomb. In other words, the handwriting is on the wall. That's biblical. One of the only places that exists outside of the Americas, of course, Mexico to Peru, has these pyramids with the various tombs or temples, as they would say. We find it in ancient Kemet, down into Sudan, Ethiopia. Over 200 pyramids was flooded when they dammed up the Aswan River to hide over 200 pyramids, Nubian pyramids, that would have surely connected the Cushites to the ancient Egyptians, known as the Temerians. You had the Tassetians and the Tanessians, and the Temerians. All three related, connected. The Tassetians were the Anu people known as the Twa or Pygmies, the Tahites or Ptah. There's also Anu, On, Ra. Ra! You don't know nothing about that. That's old school. You can get a little bit of that from Don't Push Me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. Niggas like the Jones sometimes and make you wonder how you keep from going under. That's Melly Mel. You don't know who that is? That's old school. Ra! Ra. Ra becomes Allah. They change the sun deity into the moon deity, Yah, which becomes Ayah, Ayah, which becomes Jah, Ayah, which becomes Tahuti. And Tahuti is the first begotten son of Ra. But it's talking about the sun and the moon. Astrologically, that is. Internally, that would be the pineal gland and the pituitary gland. When the Kundalini strikes the pituitary gland and the pineal gland. Between the two, there's a white light that beams off from the pituitary gland onto the pineal gland to awaken Saw as Set has traveled up through the 7 caves to awaken from the slumber, who was half asleep, who was dead, hit in the head, laid in the north, east, known as Hayam Abith. Hayam Abith is none other than Asar. In his woken state, he is Heru. Hayam is Heruem. Haram is Heruem. Heruem Marquette becomes the Sphinx on the Giza Plateau, the initiator. This is what this is all talking about. So the ancient Egyptians recognized that when the soul first awoke in the afterlife, it would be disorientated and might not remember its life on earth, its death, or what it was to do next. In order to help the soul continue on its journeys, artists and scribes would create paintings and texts related to one's life on the walls of one's tomb, now known as the pyramid text or the mirror text, which then developed into the coffin text and the famous Egyptian Book of the Dead, or what is known as the Book of Coming Forth by Day and Night, the open up the mouth ceremony. All 9 of these aspects was part of one's earthly existence, and at death, the Aku or Ak with the Sahu and Shechem, which actually is the Ka and the Ba, technically, appeared before Osiris, which is Osar or Osaru, in the halls of truth, in the hall of truth, in the presence of the 42 judges, which is known as the 42 judges of Mayat, to have one's heart, Ab, weighed in the balance. There's no beginning and there is no end. That's old school. You will have to understand. X-Clan. Sissies. Weighed in the balance on the golden scale against the white feather of truth. The ancient Egyptians recognized that when the soul first awoke in the afterlife, it would be disorientated. So we understand that. And what the pyramid texts are the oldest religious work from ancient Egypt, dated to 2400 to 2300 BCE. Coffin text developed later from the pyramid text in 2134 to 2040 BCE, while the Egyptian Book of the Dead, actually known as the Book of Coming Forth by Day, was created 1550 to 1070 BCE. All 3 of these works serve the same purpose: to remind the soul of its life on earth, comfort its distress and disorientation, and direct it on how to proceed through the afterlife. The Hall of Truth. In the Egyptian Book of the Dead, it is recorded that the afterlife, the soul would be met by the god Anpu. So, the open of the mouth ceremony, coming forth by day and night, or by shadow and light, misnomer the Book of the Dead, recorded that afterlife, the soul would be met by the god Anpu or Anubis, Anpu, who would lead it from its final resting place in the halls of truth. Images depict a crease of souls standing in the hall, and one would join the line to await judgment. This is the same thing that you see on such movies as Heaven Can't Wait. While waiting, one would be attended to by goddesses such as Kepet, daughter of Anpu, Anubis, the personification of cool, refreshing water. That cool, refreshing drink. Lemonade. That cool, refreshing drink. Kephet would be joined by others such as Nepti or Nephet and Serket, and comforting the souls and providing for them. When it came one turn, Anpu, Nubis, would lead the soul to stand before Osar, Osiris, and the scribes of the gods, Tahuti, Jehuti, Thought, in front of the golden scales. The goddess Mayat, the nature Mayat, personification of the cultural value of Mayat, is harmony, balance, truth, reciprocity, order, harmony, righteousness. 7 principles would also be present, and these would be surrounded by the 42 judges who would consult with the gods, the netures or neturus, on one's eternal fate. Now, the 42 judges, as I broke down in my previous video, the 42 judges of Mayat. You need to go back and see that. But I break down how you have 22 amino acids that is coding, activated, and then you have 42, which are non-coded, non-activated, and these are the 42 that would judge you, which is talking about your junk DNA. Because Tahuti, Jehuti, Yah, also called Idolabroth, will judge you. He's the scribe of the gods. He write down all the good and bad deeds. This is who the Muslims salam. When they salam their angels, they are salaming Tahuti or Jehuti. Thoth. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah barakatuhu when they turn to the right. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah barakatuhu when they turn to the left. They're talking to the 2 hemispheres of the brain, which records your daily activities, your experiences upon the planet. That is Tahuti. That is the wisdom, the experience in which that you must gather in order to see if you can travel on beyond the heaviness of the heart. The soul would then recite the negative confessions, which are the 42 negative confessions of Mayat, known also as the 42 cardinal virtues of Mayat, which we rather say that, in which one needs to be able to claim honestly that one has not committed certain sins. These confessions sometimes begin with the prayer, I have not learned the things which are not meant, meaning the soul strove in life to devote itself to matters of lasting importance, rather than the trivial matters of everyday life. There was no single set list of negative confessions. However, just as there was no set list of sins, which would apply to everyone, a military commander would have a different list of sins than, said, a judge or a baker. The so-called negative declarations always begin with I have not or I did not. Following the opening prayer, went to assure or saw, which is Osiris of the soul's purity, and ended in the fact with the statements I am pure, repeated a number of times. Each sin listed was thought to have disrupted one's harmony and balance while one lived and separated the person from their purpose on earth as ordained by the gods, so not to rules. In claiming purity of the soul, one was asserting that one's heart was not weighed down with sin. Who judges you? Technically, is yourself. You judge yourself. The sins are the guilt, the depression, the anger, the frustration, the disappointment. All of this is what you've gathered in your life, and you judge yourself because these particular so-called sins of the skins are subscribed upon the seed Adam of the heart. It was not the soul's claim to purity which would win over Osiris or Sar, however, but instead the way of the soul's heart. The judgment of Osiris. The heart of the soul was handed over to Osiris and was placed on the great golden scale, balanced against the white feather of Mayat, the feather of truth on the other side. If the soul heart was lighter than the feather, then the gods conferred with the 42 judges. And if they agreed that the soul was justified, the person could pass on towards the bliss of the field of reeds. According to some ancient texts, the soul would then embark on a dangerous journey through the afterlife to reach paradise, and they would need a copy of the Egyptian Book of the Dead to guide them and assist them with spells to recite if they ran into trouble. Now, the Taoists call this the bardo. The bardo. According to others, however, also justification, it was only a short journey from the hall of truth to paradise. The soul would leave the hall of judgment by roads across Lily Lake and enter the eternal paradise of the fields of reeds, in which one received back everything taken by death. For the soul with the heart lighter than a feather, those who had died earlier, was waiting along with one's home, one's favorite objects and books, even one's long lost pets. Should the heart prove heavier, however, it was thrown to the floor of the hall of truth, where it was devoured by Amenti, also known as Amu, or Amit, a nectar with the face of a crocodile, Sebek, in the front of a leopard, in the back of a rhinoceros, known as the gobbler. Once Amenti devoured the person's heart, the individual soul then ceased to exist. There was no hell for the ancient Egyptians. Their fate, worse than death, was non-existence. This is what the Bible refers to as the second death, but technically, the second death is having to reincarnate again with no memory of your former life. Hence, non-existence, because you come back believing that you never existed before. This is what this is talking about. Well, what holds the physical body and the soul? The ab, the ba, the ka, the aku, the ab, together. It's known as the silver cord. It's in the book of Ecclesiastics, 12:6 through 7 in the Old Testament. Before the silver cord snaps, the golden fountain is shattered, and the pitcher breaker breaks at the fountain, and the wheel falleth shattered into the pit. The silver cord. The silver cord is also referred to as the ethereal cord. Those who are born by natural birth can see the ethereal or silver cord if they practice out-of-body experiences known as astral projection, astral travels, or soul travel and projection. Astral travel happens from the solar plexus. Soul travels happens from the top of the head. Soul travel, you can actually journey through all of the planes of existence. The soul can biolocate, and people can actually see the soul on earth and say, I just saw you here, or I just saw you there. That's what it's called, soul projection. When the soul is in the astral plane, you can see the individual come into your dreams if you're lucid. And they can interact and teach you and train you in your dreams. All right. So the soul can travel between the physical body, ethereal body, astral body, which is the emotional body, the mental body, the causal body, the spiritual body, and the soul body. So between the physical plane to the soul plane, it can travel. The soul is not relegated to just one sphere. The astral body, so-called astral travel, astral projection, only happens from the solar plexus. Therefore, the astral body is only relegated to the astral plane, which is talking about the emotional plane. People who have diabetes, have problems with their pancreas, have problems astral traveling. They have lost the zest for life. The sweetness of life has been taken from them in some shape, form, or fashion, and come through traumatic experience, dramas, arguments, but it's dealing with something emotional. Nevertheless, the brain has no power in or of itself to think or to remember. Memories are not stored in the brain cells, but these cells react to impulses reaching them from both the upper reaches of the superconscious mind and from the world around you. The brain is only a way station through which memory and impulses flow. Technically, all 76 trillions of your cells have memory. This is a proven fact. This is how we can take one speck of blood, one spittle of spit, saliva, one strand of hair, and clone a whole nother you into existence. So technically, your whole body is a fill of memory. Technically. Right? This is quantum physics. This is also Rosicrucian teachings. But this thing about memories are not stored in the brain cells, it's stored throughout your whole body. Karma, past and present. The subconscious mind, substance flows out of the superconscious field into the frontal lobes to converge into the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland controls the subconscious operations, but only as directed by the heart seed atom, releasing picture images of past karma, and the solar plex atom releases karmic images being presently created. So the solar plexus, which is talked about when we talked about astral travel, where it happens at, happens from. They left each physical body at the moment of death, only to descend again into each new form at the time of each new incarnation. One thing that is used to manipulate us into reincarnation, hamster wheel, is the life review. A normal life review will release layers of negative energies in a healing and loving manner. In a corrupt demiurge system, anything negative or unfair you did in the game of duality to another is used by twisting the law of karma into thinking you need to reincarnate in order to balance out those energies. In fact, because we are cut off from our true selves, every time we incarnate, we end up repeating the same mistakes and getting caught up in a repeating cycle of hell. They contain the complete record of this being, of that being. They are then man's book of life. This is what these seed atoms are. You have the solar plexus atom, the heart seed atom. You also have the pineal gland seed atom. They are then man's book of life. This is the book of life that's mentioned in the scriptures. Exodus 32:32, Daniel 12:1, Luke 10:10, Philippians 4:3, Revelation 3:5, 13:8, 17:8, 2012, 2015. The demiurge is the ego, idolabroth, incarnated. It's the false self, the lower self. That's the false prophet, created out of fear. No matter how much it wants to be real, like the true creator or the source, so to speak, it never will be. It is only a reflection of the truth. When people tell each other to wake up, they mean that we need to realize the ego is not real and that we are really just one original source. That which is no thing and all possibilities at the same time. Stop projecting your ego as an enemy or being that wants to rule or something outside of yourself. Your ego, your Satan, your Lucifer at the base chakra, Uriel, the lower self, is the way the Creator gave itself the ability to focus itself as separate consciousness to experience things, but it is not real in the sense that there is only the void, which again is no thing or possibility. Now you get the book Osiris Resurrection, Volume 2 by E.A. Wallace Budge. The four main children from Sheet and Newt are one human family. Out of all the people, Set Typhon is the only one that does not have a human head. Set leaped out of his mother's womb after he reincarnated due to impatience. This is considered a mutated person. All right? This is what A.E. Wallace Budge speaks of. So the physical demiurge, the physical incarnation of the ego, idolabroth, Set, hence Soot, hence Satan, is mutated people. I won't get into that right now, but you'll get the point. Because that's another discussion. Let's get to the three main seed atoms. The permanent seed atom, which contains the divine Christos, Christ, blueprint, and its record. Second Corinthians 13:5, examine yourself whether you be in the faith, prove your own self. Know ye are not yourselves, but that Jesus Christ is in you, except ye be reprobates. Right? Reprobates. Healing presence, the essence of nursing. This is by Joe Ellen. Horitz Cornier. It says the seed atom of the physical body is located in the left ventricle of the heart. It is for those who are mutant. According to astrology, the mundane and spiritual set by S.R. Parchment, he say Its first aspect is rooted in the permanent seed atom of the dense body, which is located in the left ventricle of the heart. So for those who are mutated, the seed atom is in the left ventricle of the heart. This is how you can tell the difference between the beings upon planet Earth. Speaking from my own personal experience, is located in the right ventricle. Even so, Michael Saurian collaborates that one in the heart he recently had discovered by a physical scientist. So the one in the right side of the heart has actually been discovered by a physical scientist. Moreover, Hindell, who was the head and founder of the Rosicrucian Fellowship, goes on to say that the seed atoms are joined together by a thread of energy called the silver cord or thread, and at death, the seed atom moves up the vagus nerve, which is called the pneumogastric nerve, which touches the heart and out a suture of the crown of the head into the etheric body. Now, Max Hindell speaks of the seed atom in the right ventricle of the heart. So for those who are righteous, it's in the right ventricle. For those that are mutants, that are unrighteous, the seed atom is in the left ventricle. Here's the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is one of the 12 pair cranial nerves that we speak about. If you get the famous, phenomenal video, one of the greatest videos on YouTube, in my opinion, the brain, the crystal city, right? The brain, crystal city, and the book of Revelation. If y'all haven't seen that video, I suggest that you go back and watch it. That's one of the greatest videos on YouTube. If you don't believe me, just go and watch it. The brain, the crystal city, and the book of Revelation. There's no hold bars on that video. So anybody who's saying that I'm holding back information, please. You got to be one of the most ignorant people to grace your silly behind upon YouTube. Because anyone who has been following my information knows that I put more information out than anyone else probably on YouTube, especially about melanated people. Because that's who I'm concerned with. And not saying that all melanated people are right, because there are plenty that are wrong. There are plenty that are demonically possessed. However, for those that want to obtain higher consciousness, this is the place to be. But we're talking about the vagus nerve, which is one of the 12 pair cranial nerves that sits around the pineal gland. This is where we get the concept Jesus at the Last Supper with his 12 disciples. This is where we get the concept of King Arthur and his 12 knights at the round table. This is where we get the concept as above of the sun traveling through the 12 zodiac signs. +1. 13, which is now Officius, which comes in between Sagittarius and Scorpio. Or Scorpio and Sagittarius now. Officius. But this vagus nerve stems from out of the brain down the neck, as you see here, down all the way into the abdominal region, passing the heart, surrounding the seed atom, There blazed a miniature volcano of divine fire, which reflects the perfect image of the divine monad overshadowing you. This fire actually radiates a flame about the size of the last joint of a man's thumb, right? The Paradamsilis, called Ra, or Ra Allah, or Ru Allah, the spiritual light of the heart. The divine blueprint transmit the DNA, which are the four letters, the coding of this cellular alphabet of our personal and planetary DNA, or ACGT. Adenine, cytosine, guanine, thymine, which equals Yahweh. Yah is a flame of fire. Coincidence? I think not. Or Yahweh Va, Yahweh Wah, or Yahweh Va, which is called the Tetragrammaton. In Hebrew, meaning old source of life, Yahweh, or Yahuwah, or Yahweh, or Yahweh, or Jehovah, or Yah, or Jah, which is another name for Tahuti. Into the instructional grid once it is relayed through the opening and activated permanent seed atom, as every living thing has a permanent seed atom, the God seed code, blueprint structure. So does the living universal layer of the time. The astral emotional seed atom, located in the great lobe of the liver, we call the solar plexus, and has stamped upon it all the qualities of emotions ever experienced by the individual. The astral seed atom encapsulates all the inherited weaknesses and strengths of character developed by the individual as far as the desires and emotions are concerned. Hence, this seed atom is the record of his desires and of his emotional life. It pours its atomic particles into the heart, into the bloodstream, carrying their influence on into the glandular system. So it's talking about that because the astral body slash emotional body slash higher desired body slash the great lobe of the liver, or the solar plexus slash spleen and pancreas, because the spleen and pancreas are connected to the solar plexus also. So is the stomach. The liver has over 500 functions in the body. You take the letter R off and you have the word live. So the liver, this is why this is part of the astral emotional seed atom. And so when you have a chemical response in the brain, the chemicals move through the bloodstream, carrying the influences on into the glandular system, hence your endocrine glands, i.e., your chakra system. This is the solar plexus, which sits directly below the rib cage in the center. It is said that if you get punched or hit here, you will have severe problems. In fact, you can even die. Boxers know this. So every month when the moon goes into your sun's sign position, this is when Jehuti goes into the position of Ra. This is when you were born. There is a germ or seed that is deposited, planted into your solar plexus, the manger, Bethlehem, and that oil needs to return to which it came. The oil is differentiated into the pineal gland and the pituitary glands before it is sent down the spinal column or cord. This is what is known as the chrism. The chrism oil is yellowish, whitish yellowish. This is the land of milk and honey. The pineal gland is the electrical portion and the pituitary gland is the magnetic portion. The oil is brought down the spinal cord by the eta and the pingala nerves via the vagus nerve, the kundalini and kundalini buffer, and it arrive at the sacral area waiting to be germinated once a month, 12 times a year. Hence, on the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. The partridge is the dove that lighted over top of the head of Jesus as he was being baptized. The dove is also inside your brain, which is by way of what is known as the eye of Heru. That whole ventricle area down from the third ventricle looks like a bird. No coincidence. So if you were able to transmute the seed, which is Jesus, and cause it to raise up, resurrect up the spinal cord to eventually reach the medulla oblongata, which is the back of the head, the place of the skull, or the Mount Calvary called Golgotha in Aramaic, the pons in the midbrain, and it crosses the vagus nerve, also known as the nomogastric nerve, a pair of cranial nerves that descends from the brain area, pineal gland, and pituitary glands, respectively, feeds the lungs and the stomach, and this network of nerves are called the tree of life, hence Christmas tree. And the ancients knew that this seed that is born once a month in the manger in the city of Bethlehem is the Christ, hence chrism. Chrism. You read Hilton Hotima's books, in particular, you read his book, The Secret of Regeneration, he speaks about this chrism seed in there. Now we get to the heart. The physical heart seed atom is the atom containing the record of man's past, including the physical, emotional, and mental aspects. This seed atom is located under the thymus gland in the right ventricle of the human heart. It connects to the divine spirit through the life cord. The life force is poured downward by way of the life cord into the physical form and are distributed through the heart seed atom into the body by the bloodstream. In the Tamarian traditions, the heart, the ab, is the essence of life, the seat of the mind with its emotions, intelligence, and moral sense. Therefore, whereas the astral, emotional, and the mental seed atoms contain only the qualities of the emotions and the mind, the heart seed atom contains a complete electronic picture record of everything that has ever happened to the individual throughout his existence. This is why the heart is weighed against the feather on the scales of balance of Mayat. It releases actual picture images of the past. How does this occur? Well, freshly irradiated blood enters from the lungs carrying holographic pictures of all life events taken in through the air we breathe. SHU is why the heart is being weighed against SHU, carried by the blood and ultimately recorded by the permanent physical seed atom in the heart. The heart seed atom contains this perpetual record of a man's past, ties man to his karmic destiny. The mental and astral seed atoms contain the powers or the weakness of the individuals, enable man to influence his own future, his own destiny. Thus, he has two seed atoms working from his will, his free will, and a destiny of his making and of his choosing. And he has one seed atom definitely holding him to his karmic past destiny and his fate. All right, this is what's going on. So here we have an image coming from ancient Kemet, Tamari, Egypt. As you see here, SHU is being weighed against the heart. The scale of Mayat. You see the baboon, which is the image of Tahuti, Jehuti, the recorder, symbolized as the medulla oblongata. And the two cerebrums, which symbolizes the recorder of your human existence. And this information, which is being recorded by the eyes via the medulla oblongata and the cerebrums, goes into the heart seed atom, as we just read. It is recorded and stored there. Even though all of 76 trillion cells in your body are the actual recorder. But it is concentrated there within the right ventricle where the seed atom resides. The physical seed atom resides there. Here's another picture of Anpu, Anubis, using the balance in order to see. You see the recorder there, Tahuti, on top of the balance, scale balance. You see the depiction of the baboon, which is another image of Tahuti. However, in the form Tahuti is the Ibis bird, and of course the beak looks like a writing pen. He's recording on the scroll of life, the book of life, symbolically your DNA, but that's what it also symbolizes. Tahuti or Jehuti also symbolizes your DNA and recording your good and bad deeds. Is where the Christians get the concept of the sins are being written down in the book of life, as we read earlier. SHU, which symbolizes that feather, and SHU was the first and only begotten son of Ra. All right. Of course, it says the only begotten, but it really is talking about the firstborn. Firstborn. The heart is part of the three dantians. You have the upper dantian, which is the brain, the crystal palace, the crystal room, the upper room, the third ventricle. And when it is full of energy, the capacity of the brain increases. In other words, you begin to develop photographic memory, as well as also you have access to your past lives. Hence the medulla oblongata, which is your Akashic records, your personal Akashic records. We store our spiritual intelligence, the mind here. All the dantians have both yin and yang within them. In nature, the yin and yang are represented in all things. Day, yang, turns into the sunset, which turns into night, yin. It is very important to feel the quality of yin within yang and yang within yin. Sunrise, sunset. One quality does not exist without the other. They are inseparable qualities of the same force. Hence, like what we refer to as centrifugal force and centrifugal force, push and pull. The heart center of the dantian, between the two nipples in the middle dantian, it is associated with the fire element, which within fire, there is always water. The original spirit, Shin, is stored here. The lower abdomen of the navel is like an empty universe of water, ocean. You want to feel in it a universe of energy in the lower dantian. Within this universe or ocean, there is a fire like a volcano under the water, or ocean fire underwater, right? So what we find out is that the principles of resonance, everything has a frequency to which it is naturally tuned. This is known as the prime resonance frequency, PRF. At this frequency, an object will move, or it will more readily absorb energy, At this frequency, an object will will more readily absorb energy. Each component of your body has its own prime resonant frequency. The PRF of a typical cell is approximately 1,000 hertz. The prime resonance frequency, PRF, of a person is in the range of 7 to 10 hertz. The prime resonance frequency of the heart is approximately 100 hertz. So if you wish to understand the universe, we must think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. This is Nikola Tesla. This is why we had to connect the dots. Our heart is monitoring all sorts of information processed through the functioning sensory neurites, of which there are around 40,000 from the heart itself. Check this out now, the intricate cardiac, glandular, and the brain via the vagus nerve. This is November 24th, 2012. It's talking about the heart and its connection to the brain. It's by way of the vagus nerve. But there are sensory neurites, 40,000 of them in the heart. The brain in your chest. Science-backed techniques for tapping into your heart's intelligence. This is by Greg Braden, Conscious Lifestyle magazine. I'm not going to read everything, but right here it says this. A team of scientists led by J. Andrews Amour, MD, PhD, of the University of Montreal, which was studying the intimate relationship between the two, found that about 40,000 specialized neurons or sensory neurites form a communication network within the heart. Within the heart. I come down. It says, while the large number of neurons are obviously concentrated in the brain and along the spinal cord, the discovery of these cells in the heart and other organs in small number give new light into the profound level of heart intelligence and communication that exists within the body. Neurites are tiny projections that come from the main body of the neuron to perform different functions in the body. Some carry information away from the neurons to connect with other cells, while others detect signals from various sources and carry them towards the neuron. What makes the discovery exceptional is that the neurites in the heart performs many of the same functions that are found in the brain. The discovery of the 40,000 sensory neurites in the human hearts opens the door to a vast new possibility that parallels that they have been accurately described in the scriptures of some of our most ancient and cherished spiritual traditions. The heart's brain does this by converting the language of the body emotions into the electrical language of the nervous system so that the messages make sense of the brain. The heart-coded messages inform the brain when we need more adrenaline. For example, in a stressful situation or when it's safe to create less adrenaline and focus on building a stronger immune system. Now that this little brain in the heart has been recognized by researchers, the role it plays in a number of physical and metaphysical functions has also come to light. These functions include, and not limited to, but include direct heart communication with sensory neurites in other organs in the body, the heart-based wisdom known as heart intelligence, the intentional state of deep intuition, the intentional precognitive abilities, the mechanicism of intentional self-healing, the awakening of self-learning abilities, and much more. The heart's little brain has been found to function in two distinct yet related ways. It can act independently of the cranial brain to think, learn, remember, and even sense our inner and outer worlds on its own, in harmony with the cranial brain to give us the benefit of a single potent neural network shared by two separate organs or more discovers a heart intelligence has the potential to forever change the way we think of ourselves. It gives new meaning to what possi- possible in our bodies and what we're capable of achieving in our lives. In other words, it has been clear in recent years that a sophisticated two-way communication occurred between the heart and the brain, with each influencing the other's function. Right? Techniques, 5 steps to ask your heart a question. Create heart focus. Allow your awareness to move from your mind to the area of your heart. This sends a signal to the heart that a shift has been placed. You're no longer engaged in the world around you, and you're now becoming aware of the world within you. Slow your breath. Begin to breathe a little more slowly than usual. Take approximately 5 to 6 seconds to inhale and use the pace as you exhale. This simple step sends a second signal to your body that you are safe and in a place that supports your presence or process, excuse me. Deep, slow breathing that has been long been known to stimulate the relaxation response of the nervous system, aka the parasympathetic response. Feel the rejuvenating feeling. To be the best of your ability, feel a genuine sense of care, appreciation, gratitude, or compassion for anything and everyone or anyone. The key to success is that you are feeling, but as sincere and heartfelt as possible. It can be even about your own body. This is what Mantai Chia teaches when he tells you to smile down into your organ. The results. The quality of this feeling fine tunes and optimizes the coherence between your mind, hence your heart, and your brain. While everyone is capable of invoking the feeling for this step, it's one of those processes that you may need to experiment with to find which one works best for you, right? Ask your heart a question. Previous 3 steps creates the harmony between your brain and your heart to enable you to tap into your heart's wisdom. As you continue to breathe and hold your focus in your breath in your heart, it is time to ask your question. Heart intelligence generally works best, all right, when the questions are brief and to the point. Remember, your heart does not need a preface or a history of the situation before the question. Ask your silently, the question silently as a single concise sentence, and then allow your heart to respond in a way that works for you. All right, result. Your intuition opens up and you begin the dialogue. All right, the key to being successful at dialoguing with your heart is this. If you are empowering enough to have the experience, then you are empowered to know for yourself what your experience means. All right, so I'm not going to read everything. Let's come on down. But this is the article, Human by Design, from Evolution by Change or Chance, excuse me, to Transformation by Choice by Greg Braden. This is an article excerpt with permission from Greg Braden. And so we know that there is an intelligence of the heart. Right? This is the reason why the heart is being weighed against the feather. If you ever ask that question, why the heart? I've given you the reason why, because it's the seed atom that is ascribed all of your life experiences that is there. That is technically what is being weighed is the seed atom's information. Your whole life experience, as they say, flash before your eye. That life review. That life review is um, sketched upon that seed atom. Okay. Scientists shows how grateful literally alters the human heart and molecular structure of the brain. So, simply by feeling gratitude establishes the connection between the heart and mind, or the heart and brain. Simply by having gratitude. Scientists have discovered that feeling of gratitude can actually change your brain. Feeling gratitude can also be a great tool for overcoming depression and anxiety. Furthermore, scientists have discovered that the heart sends signals to the brain. Okay. Gratitude is a funny thing. In some parts of the world, everybody who gets a clean drink of water, some food, or wear out pairs of shoes can be extremely grateful. Meanwhile, someone else who has all the necessities they need to live can be found complaining about something. What we have today is what we once wanted before, but there is a lingering belief out there that obtaining material possessions is the key to happiness. Sure, this may be true, but the happiness is temporary. The truth of the happiness is inside job. Right? Having an attitude of gratitude changes the molecular structure of the brain, keeps gray matter functioning, and keeps us healthier and happier. When you feel happier, happiness, the central nervous system is affected. You are more peaceful, less reactive, and less restrained. Now, they're a really cool way of taking care of yourself, of your well being. All right. So, just check that out. What we also find that the heart's electrical field is 100 times stronger than the brain. I'm going to say that again. The heart's electrical field is 100 times stronger than the brain. The heart magnetic field is 5,000 times stronger than the brain. So feelings of your heart affects consciousness. Once again, the heart's electrical field is 100 times stronger than the brain, and the heart's magnetic field is 5,000 times stronger than the brain. Right? Your heart produces a wave that locks the possibilities into place. Quantum possibility waves, standing waves matter. All right. Quantum DNA evolution, the wave of love, right? Love symbolizes the fifth frequency, and fear diminishes your auric field, right? Keeps you locked down in third frequency, or the third dimension. Love expands your auric field. And so just go to 1 John 4 through 7 to 10. It says, Beloved, let us love one another. For love is of God, and everyone that loveth is born of God and knoweth God. And he that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. You know, you used to stand up in church when you was a child, when you was a kid growing up, talking about, say something from the Bible. God is love. Jesus wept. Y'all get that in when y'all was kids. You know that. I remember them days. Don't be trying to front like you wasn't there. Mental seed atom, located within the pineal gland, connects to the superconsciousness or conscious mind in the oversoul triangle above the individual's head by means of this conscious cord. As in the case of the first one, this seed atom also contains a record of all the inherent and innate qualities of the mind of the individual. It registers all the mental and mind powers developed by and through the individual during the ages of his evolutionary progress. It is also in this atom at the present that the future, in that man can create changes within it immediately by the changing of his mind. It is today what we have made in the past incarnations, and yet it is can be endowed with greater powers now to affect both the immediate present and future of the individual. All right, so this is the science. of the seed atom, and the reason why the heart is being weighed against the feather. Heart is electrically 1,000 times stronger, 100 times stronger, stronger than the brain. And the heart magnetic field is 5,000 times stronger than the brain. And then you learn the science of healing, Qigong, pranic energy healing work, psychic suggestion. All of these are energy modalities. All right. So, any questions? We'll take some questions right now. You know how we do. You got to get it in. All right. All right. All right. All right. So hopefully I answered those questions concerning the heart, and of course the sound for the heart is AH. Adrian, you talking about you just learned something. Come on now. Come on. Come on. Brother Mark Price, appreciate you. Brother Chino, appreciate you. Brother Yah, El Allah, Amen Ra, Whirlwind, appreciate you. Much appreciation for those donations. Oh, and Adrian, oh, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Word, word, word. Well, I'm talking about y'all going in tonight with the super chats. Thank you, thank you. Hopefully y'all appreciating this information that we putting out here, you know, because everything is needed as we move forward, or we can do what we're doing, as well as also information. Hopefully y'all got the connections. All right. Jay Roy, you spoke about the fact that some of us having heart attacks. Yes, your heart attacks you. And simply what that means is that oftentimes we have pets, or we have walked outside without shoes on in infested areas, which had pets outside, and we're barefooted, or if we ate food in which that has parasites or worms in it, what happens is that these worms can gather at the heart. And this is actually what they call a massive heart attack. It's actually talking about the worms. All right. This is what causes massive heart attacks. Really, what you can do in order to bypass any heart issue, you can take cayenne pepper and rub it at the centers of your palm if the person cannot swallow the cayenne pepper. Or if you can swallow the cayenne pepper, then do so. You can swallow the cayenne pepper or garlic. Both of those will actually stop a heart attack within a matter of seconds, within a matter of moments. All right. Once again. All right. Once again, cayenne pepper and garlic can stop a heart attack in a matter of moments. So a person do not have to die. If you have garlic, if you have cayenne pepper, you can save their life. Okay. All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, the master mason, the Ma, or the mother and son. Ma, son, or masonry, which is M-A-R-Y, masonry, Mary, Mary, and then son is in the center, son. Hence masonry. All right, which is Mary's son, which is talking about Jesus. All right. Y'all know what's up with that. To the east, my brother to the east. Come on. That's right, Andrew. You know the deal. X-Clan, the 90s. That's right. You know what's up. You know what's up. Girl, you know what's up. All right. All right, that's 999, my brother. All right, all right, all right. There you go. All right, going just scrolling through, seeing the comments and seeing what we can, continue getting into. All right, let me go out so I can pull myself, I guess, pull myself back up here.